Hello, everybody. I was just sitting there taking in the music. How are you all? Hope you are all well. Whether you're with me live, whether you're watching me a little bit later on the replay, give me a thumbs up and do pop me a note in the comments so I know you were present with me, whether or not you're watching on YouTube or whether or not you are watching on Facebook. Hello, Linda. Hope you are well. I know it's a bit difficult to keep track of when I'm live, but make sure you look at the banner in my Facebook page or group, and I update that every Monday so that you can see where I'm at. So tomorrow I'm on Jewelry Maker, another early start for me, but always enjoy it. So let me know, pop me a note in the comments whether or not you're a beader already. Obviously, I know you are, Linda, and probably most of the viewers I know. But if there's anybody there, because we do have some new people joining us along the way, do let us know. And let me know, Linda, hello, Carrie, hello, Francis, whether or not you have got any projects on the go at the moment, any jewellery making, any crafts. Perhaps you've got some craft fairs coming up. Do let us know. Now, it's been a little while since we've done a bead along, and I know from feedback a lot of you say, well, actually, I find it quite difficult to concentrate and to actually bead along with you. It's opportunity for us all to get together in whatever capacity. You might want to watch and chat and maybe watch again when you're ready and you've got the materials, or it might be that you want to have a go, or you might have another project there with you to have a go. Now, we are going to be working with today crimping chain, which is a very sort of, it's not necessarily fine, but it's a very beautiful chain. It's probably about 1 mil thick, and it's ideal for creating a floating necklace look. And that's what we're going to look at today, and doing a multi-strand necklace. So I know some of you may have done it before. It might just be a bit of a refresher, or perhaps the bead combinations I'm putting together might be something a little bit different as well. So Linda is doing a car boot on Sunday to get rid of some stuff that I've had made for a while. But good for you, Linda. I hope it goes well. They're a bit mad, aren't they, at car boots? I did one a year ago, and they were like locusts before you even get your boot open. It's really weird. Hello, Jan. I've missed these Wednesdays. Feels like a long break. I know, it really, really does. Jan has not come across crimping chain yet. Well, that's nice because it's something a little bit new for you. So without further ado, let's go on the overhead. Let's have a look. Now, let's just reposition. Now, can you tell me my left hand and right hand, so right hand, left hand, is it correct on your screens? I think it should be, because I've asked my StreamYard not to mirror. Right, let's just get that straight. So I'm using a beadboard, which many of you have got. They are savages at car boot. Oh, excellent. Right, brilliant. So I have absolutely loads of bead boards, and if I get opportunity, I will put them in the group, because I've got so many, I'm going to put them on special offer. So I'm just going to reduce me down a little bit in size. There we go, so you can see the bead board. Now I have got Peach Aventurine, which you can't really see the peachy colours that well. So what I'm doing is I'm going to contrast it with some peach colours. So I have got some 5x6 pearlized 5x6, and I have got a slightly deeper, almost salmony coloured ones in 2.5 by 3.5, again pearlized effect. So to begin with, what I've done is I have cut 9.5 inches of crimping chain, and then I've used the second groove. Let's just line that up a bit better. Then I've used the second groove to measure in line with 9.5. So that's obviously going to be, I think it's about half an inch shorter, but that's what we're going to do. I think I'm just going to go for the 2 strands today. So that's our first thing. So using your side cutters, that's where I've cut them. Obviously it depends on the length that you want personally, but we will add an extender on there. Just bear in mind, obviously with this being half an inch, that's going to be 9, which it makes it an 18-inch necklace. Jan says I might need a bead board. No problem at all. Right, so I'm going to take this off. So that's my longer one. Actually, I'm going to reverse them. Longer one on the right, so I know that one's first. So it's entirely up to you. What I tend to do with the floating necklace, you can also do floating necklace as well with your tiger tail. I tend to use the outer one to make a mainframe design, and then the second row I'll fit in beads in between that. So I'm going to create a bit of a pattern to begin with. I might actually put a few little accent beads in. Hello, Carol. Hello, Maxine. Good to have you all join. I'm so pleased you're with me, because I must admit, you know, where we've had sort of intermittent lives, I was worried that I might not get many of you coming on. You know, it's so lovely to catch up with you all. So I've got some little accent beads here, which are these little acrylic, metallized acrylic beads. I'm going to do a slightly bigger one, actually, a slightly bigger one in the center. And the good thing about having it slightly weighted in the center is exactly that, is it gives that little bit more weight to it. But what I love about these peachy colours is the fact that they just can pop out, the peachy colours. I didn't really want that many accent beads, but I think I will for the first part. There we go. And then it's deciding how far apart you want it. Just bear in mind that as you get round, if you're looking up at me at the top screen, when you get to about here, around your neck, you're not going to see anything. And you really need to think about that in your design, because there's no point putting your best gemstone beads in a place where it's going to be hidden around your neck. So I would say about the 6-inch point is probably where that starts to break off. So I'm going to do one at the 3.5. Bearing in mind this might change a little bit when you actually come to doing the crimping. Right, let me know whether or not, I suppose you can't probably actually see it that well. Let's leave it for now, but I don't think you can actually see. I was just wondering if your preference was with the accent beads or without them. I'm not having any accent beads for the bit on the outside. So let's just move that up to 3.5. So I've got the middle bead. I've got the middle bead at 3.5. You're at 3. You are at 3 and 3.5 at the moment. Yes, I was. You're absolutely spot on. I spotted that. So I've got 1.5 gap. So 1, So we're going to have at the 5.5 next. So we'll lay it out roughly how we would like it in the middle bit, but because we don't actually see much, so that's 6, 7. I'm just going to add a little bead around the back, just so that it's not completely empty. Okay, let's just straighten that up. Right, now next thing is I will probably have my second one at the 2. Do you know what? I'm going to take the accent beads out. I'm not liking them. Isn't that funny? Just not feeling it. Just not feeling it. But that's part of designing, isn't it? Is you create it. And that's what I love about the bead board as well, is the fact that it's so versatile. I miss the little beads. Oh yes, I'm just getting to that. Just getting to that. I'm getting sidetracked. Better? There we go. And then so next one I think we'll do at 4.5 and 4.5. Hi Francis. I've only just started, Francis. I'm a bit later today, 1 o'clock today. For those of you that have all sort of paid for your orders, they're all ready to send out. Francis, I'm going to have to pop yours up to you soon. Missed on the right. Missed on the right. Missed that one. Oh, you're eagle-eyed today. You're on it. Right, 4.5, 4.5. And then I'm trying to pick out the peachiest colours. 5. Oh, I put one on the wrong doobie what's it. I think that one I'm going to take off. And just have that there. There we go. Right. How's that looking? Missed on the right. I meant the right. Oh, great news. I thought I'd missed you. No, only just started, Francis. A mixture of ADHD and OCD makes me spot differences very quickly. Oh, well, I think there's certainly a lot of us around that are falling into that category. And that's good that you can spot that quickly. So, commentator's eye, everyone. Does that look right? Are we looking good? Right. Let's get some crimps. So you've all come across crimp beads. I'm going to pop these on a mat actually because they're a lot more difficult to pick up from the bead board. Anybody else got really bad hay fever today? It's a right old stinker. Loving the odd numbers, love the layout. I'm glad you like it. Hopefully it'll transpire into something as nice. Right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread all of these beads on and find the halfway point and hope that they don't drop off the other side. Now, top tip, should have mentioned that from the outset, make sure that the bead holes actually thread on to the crimping chain. You might find that small things like freshwater pearls that are small drilled, maybe some gemstone chips might not go on there. Yeah, hay fever been off the scale lately. Do you know what? It's the last couple of years, I was really hoping I'd outgrown it because I'd heard someone say, you know, sometimes as you get older, it stops. Well, that's all very well and good, but it came back. Right, so I've got that in the middle. So I'm going to pop a crimp bead on each side. You're going to have to take my word for it because I'm just threading it on at the side here. Should we zoom in a bit more now? Right, let's. Right, so there we go. Just making sure the ends marry up together, which they don't at the moment. Okay. Is all crimping chain? Well, it's all, yes, the crimping chain. I've only got silver in stock, but I can order it in gold and rose gold as well. And it is the same width. So there we go. That's our start point. But isn't that pretty? Right. So I'm going to add on a crimp bead and just work one side and then the other. Francis says, living in a field isn't good for hay fever, but let's hope some showers will damp it down soon. Do you know what I find though? I find that the showers actually lift up the pollen. It's a right pain. Right, so we've got that on the 0 and we want to position this on the 3. Now this can be a wee bit tricky sometimes. So what you also want to do is making sure that your crimping bead is actually central, you know, so you haven't got it lopsided. Now, I was watching while I was doing a bit of designing the other day. I do like to learn whilst, if I'm making something that doesn't require too much sort of brain power, so to speak, I love to learn new things. And I was watching a tutorial, and honestly, I learned it wasn't even about basic beading. I mean, you know, it's a bit sad if I've got to learn basic beading, but every day is a school day. And this lady was showing you how crimping pliers are properly used. And it was really interesting because she was basically working from the tips outwards. And I thought, I haven't tried it yet. So anyway, sorry to go on. Crimp bead at the bottom, crimp bead at the top. You don't necessarily have to have a crimp bead at the top because you're going to have another one above it, but I like to anyway. And the other thing she did as well with these looping pliers is she was saying that the depth of the looping pliers are the right length to to cut your head pin. So if you do a head pin, you put the head pin through there and you can cut it so that it's your sort of 1 centimetre length, and then turn it. And I thought, so easy, so easy. So yeah, has anybody else come across any top tips that they thought, well, I've been beading for ages and I never knew that? Rose gold crimp chain sounds lovely, says Frances, and Jan says she likes silver best. Jan, every day is a chance to learn something new. It really is. It doesn't matter how long you've been making for. There's always someone that's thought of a different way of doing something. Right, where's that meant to be? 5.5. We've gone a bit off piste here. A bit off piste because they're not the same distance. But I'm going to go with it. Going to go with it because we can learn from it. But that is a really different gap. Why is that such a different gap? Hopefully it'll all come into fruition and you can learn. We've just lost you behind your image. Oh, okay. Let's have a look. Let me know if you can see me now. Oh, I see. I'm beading behind my image. Right, I'm with you. Right, okay. Let's move me over there, shall we? There we go. I love the fact that I can move myself around the screen. Right, where's that gone? Let's pick up another one. Right, crimp bead. Right, try and get your crimp beads going the same direction. Right, not. Hi, Kim. Right, and it does get a bit easier when you do the other side, because what you can make sure you do is actually marry up the widths and gaps the other side. Now you're probably thinking, if I made that, I would have equal gaps. Yeah, I probably agree with you. But you can obviously make it your own. Now this is a lot easier. I am just gonna pop that beadboard over there. because it's a lot easier to get this bit on a bead mat. So if you line up those crimp beads, okay, and then one, so what beads would you use with your crimping chain? Have you got any beads in mind? I have put these 3 groups of beads in the Facebook group, so if anybody does want to copy the design, please feel free. There's also, in the crimping chain that I've put online, somebody actually asked me what I did with the crimping chain. So I've actually attached 4 previous video tutorials that I've done on crimping chain. We've made lariats with it. We've made lucite flowers with it as well. Lots of different things you can do with it. And on the subject of lucite flowers, on Jewellery Maker tomorrow, we've got some lucite flowers, and they're absolutely beautiful. I've really enjoyed designing, and I think you're really going to like the designs as well. I've designed some clusters of big flowers. They've got a selection of beautiful pearlized petals in lucite that I've never seen before, ever so pretty, and also some leaves as well as the normal lucite flowers that we work with. I've got some lucite flowers that I will be adding to the group soon as well, that our lovely Frances has strung for us. But anybody, any ideas sort of moving forward, what sort of things you'd like me to demonstrate? I know we did have a chat the other day, didn't we? Some ideas. So you see how you're just lining those up. There we go. And then in a moment we'll start with our second layer, our second chain. And I think I'm going to have to relay all of those bits and pieces. Right, okay, there we go. I mean, that's really nice just on its own as well, isn't it? And I know what we've done before is we've actually had things like your Tree of Life pendants that we've hung in the middle as well. That's really quite nice to do. Right, now I'm going to bring back the bead board. Let's pop that to one side a moment. Just going to have a quick drink. Right, they've gone a bit iggledy-piggledy. So let's pop this back on. and get them back in line again. So we put that in the 0. Oh, they're all over the place. I think the first one goes on the 2. So let's pop on a crimping chain. Oh, maybe not. Francis says, please could you demonstrate how to make your own head pins and use crimp bead pliers? No idea what they're really called. I think they're called crimping pliers. Right, let's lay that out on the 0 so we know roughly right. I think it's going to be easier just to lay this out on the board. Sorry, to answer your question, Francis, yes, if I can figure out how to use the crimping pliers with it actually looking decent, then absolutely. Right, okay. At least we've got a starting point now. And the head pins, yes, haven't done those for a while. Normally what you do is sort of it's something decorative on the end. You can also use something called a planishing hammer as well, whereby you actually flatten the ends, so you create like this flat effect on the bottom. That's the other thing that we could do. So yeah, we could do that. Trying to pick up my crimp beads. I don't know what I'm doing with these crimp beads. They seem to be disappearing. Okay, the next one will be in between that group. So it's quite a small gap. Oh, sorry, you suddenly disappeared. My ad blocker popped up. That's weird. Do you know, I have my nails done regularly now, which is just trying to think what it's called now. Bio Builder's Gel, I think it is. And I love having my nails nice, but I don't know, does anybody else find this? I find it more difficult to pick things up, and I'm thinking this is taking me a lot longer than it would normally. Right, so Francis said, I've seen some gorgeous bracelets that look like cup chain, but a bit bigger. How would you secure them? I have in my to-do list a cup chain tutorial, because I've actually got the ends for them so that you can do just that. So that's a good shout. There we go. So that's on the 2. And then this one. Oh, I'm going to have to move myself again. There we go. Gel nails make it much harder to pick anything out. I'm glad it's not just me. Do you think it's because you've got more layers on your nails? It's really bizarre. So I'm going to need to do it the other side now. And I'm going to have to line it up first of all. Oh, there we go. So we want that on the 2 and the 2 over here. Actually, you don't want it on the 2. You want the bead on the 2. There we go. Right, so now I've got that, I am going to go back to using the beading mat because I can level it off with the other side. Francie said, I think that's the reason for struggling to pick things up is there's no give in the gel nail. No, it must be. It's bizarre. I've had fun and games with my printer today. I sorted everyone's post out and I print it all, except I've been busy printing some original music for the choir that I run. And it's been really printing off huge amounts of copies that I'd ordered. And my ink has run out and I don't have any spares, even though I've got an HP order. So I think it's probably because I don't normally print that much off. So I was having a bit of a, oh my goodness, I've paid for all of the postage, but I can't print it. But I managed to squeeze some more ink out of it because my ink's not going to arrive for another 10 days. So I can still post things out. I just have to get the labels printed and hope that my order arrives early. I don't know if anybody else does the HP, paying for HP. I find it so much cheaper than buying the cartridges all the time. Come on. Right, let's try another one. That one didn't want to go on. So how are you finding it all so far? Does this all sort of seem pretty straightforward? How many of you have done the crimping chain? I think quite a few of you. And then last little bit, and then we'll bring it all together. Looks pretty and delicate. Says Maxine, loving it. I might need to add some crimping chain to my next order. No problem at all. Let me know if you need anything printing in the meantime. Thank you, Francis. Will do. I appreciate that. Just makes you realise how much you come to rely on it when it's not available. Now, that is that one done. And then hopefully, if we've lined it all up correctly, we should be able to just bring those ends together, because what I did from the outset was actually cut it the right length. So what we need next is your culottes, which are these little things that look like shells. And so you want the smaller one on the inside, longer one on the outside. Bring those together. Just making sure they don't overlap the wrong side. Oh, which is exactly what I've done. So that on the outside, that on the in. And then pop those through the culotte. Now you should be able to use a normal crimp bead over both of those. If not, then you can either crimp them individually, or you can get a bigger crimp bead. So we're going to just pop that right on the end. If you need to line them up, then obviously you can trim them off. And then we're going to shimmy that towards the end and close that up. And then we're going to join the other two ends together. So Frances says she's done crimping chain for necklaces, earrings and bracelets. It always looks so neat and pretty. It's a really nice finish with the culottes, isn't it, Frances? And you'll see a lot of this design actually in a lot of the high street stores. And I bet you don't really get much change for £20 on these. And they don't use up a lot of beads either. I'm going to try another crimp bead. Oops. There we go. Right on the edge there, squeeze. Frances says for anyone who hasn't tried it for earrings, you can have a straight drop or loop the chain similarly to today's project. Oh yes, we did that as well, didn't we? I'd forgotten all about that. Right, so close that up. And then we're going to get a lobster clasp. Whoops, lobster, an extender, and 2 jump rings. So we're going to have 2 sets of pliers. So open up your jump ring, pop that. So you've got your lobster on one side Obviously you don't have to have a lobster clasp, but it just gives you a little bit more flexibility for altering the length. Just show you how lovely these ends are. So neat. And there's nothing there that can irritate your skin either. So there's your necklace. Now what I'm going to do is just go and grab a display bust to show you how it looks. I'm hoping it's lined up, otherwise right, there is something I would do differently on this, and you will, I think you will spot it. So here we go. So here's the necklace. Now what I would have done differently is I would pop a bead in the middle on the second row to weight it down. Can you see? It creates, it kind of lifts it up a little bit. So it's still very pretty, and I like the way the beads are hanging in the right places. But to me, that bead, just one, two or three beads in the middle would finish it off much better. What you could always do on that, actually, I'm going to do something a little bit different before we finish. I am going to pop a head pin on one of the peach beads and see if that changes the look. So bear with while I just find my ball head pins. Right, so let's just go on the overhead. Liking that. For anyone, oh right, it's lovely, love the colours. Glad you like it. Right, so I'm going to try this method. Cutting. And also turn it with that as well. And then loop it. It's just knowing which side you want to, right, that one. Sorry, I've noticed I'm off. That's really clever. Right, I'm just going to pop it onto this. We were on the same wavelength there, Francis. Pop a head pin on it. Whoops. That's much better. Yeah, that's quite cute. I'd possibly add a few more on there as well, but let me turn it round so that you can see. Oops, no, that's on the outside. Outside, inside. Bit wonky donkey, let's straighten that up. There we go. It's better, isn't it? Much better. So the main thing is, whether or not you like the design I've done, is it hopefully it gives you another concept to work with. It's really, really pretty chain. You can also have it as a really long necklace as well, but just experiment with using it with head pins, with charms, lots of different things. And like I say, it seems like the key thing that was missing in that was the middle thing. But that's the whole thing about these impromptu makes, is you can see how I put things together, and the fact that we all have things that we want to do slightly differently as well. So once you've actually created it, and that happens a lot when you're designing, is you start with something and then you think that does not work, but I like that, I didn't like that. So hopefully you've got a little bit of inspiration from that. Francis said, thank you, lovely as ever. Got to go now. Thank you for joining. That's lovely, says Linda. Thank you. Thank you, Rachel. Happy beading, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Maxine. I will see you tomorrow on Jewelry Maker if you're able to tune in. I should be present for most, if not all, of the show from 8 till 1 p.m. Demonstration hours are normally 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock, but bear in mind that it's in that hour as opposed to on the hour, so just bear that in mind. Jan's inspired to have a go. Brilliant. Don't forget to share your makes in Beaders of Beads by Virtue. Take care. See you very soon.